right, it is Combat Esports Media here. It's your boy Jimmy.
And your boy Darkside here.
We're back here with another one with Mr. JxShepp, man. The one and only up and comer, and I'm not even gonna say up and comer. I'm gonna say rising star at this point, man. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. Blessed to be here with y'all, man.
Yes, sir. And first off, I'm gonna ask you, man. Coming into the ESBC community, taking it by storm almost, man. You just wanna just talk about that a little bit?
No, yeah, man. So long story short, when I was starting to do YouTube, I was just making random videos and then not just knowing much about no games or nothing like that. Then I ran across ESBC and then my content from that moment flipped because I got super interested. And then even when I started, I didn't even know what a Discord was. And then I found a Discord and found a community. And I was on 10. So I pretty much just decided at that point I was going to do whatever I had to do to be a part of the community and then to grow with the people in the community and then grow with that content because I'm a boxing fan, I'm a boxing gamer, or I'm more like a fight gamer, to be honest. And yeah, it just took a switch from there, man.
To build off what Jay was saying, you could just getting into the community. Like you just said, you didn't even know what Discord was, but once you figured it out, you got into the ESBC Discord and of course started, talking to people in the community and things like that. You've actually had, I would probably say, it's actually been pretty cool to see you and like coming into the Discord community and then from there, getting the content creator role and things like that and be able to, connect with a lot of people in the Discord because a lot of people, follow your videos and things like that. But how would you say, coming into the community, how's been like your reception, like your thought process when you come into the community? How's the reception been for you so far? Like, how have you liked it? Has it been like, a little too toxic for you at times? Because things don't always go, it's not always sunshine and rainbows in the Discord. So, just talk about that so far.
Nah, man. There's a definite split, like a Star Wars Sith and Jedi. Like it's definitely a split. You have the guys that are I would say over optimistic, the ones who kind of treating this game like Pokemon. They want to be the very best and catch them all. And I'm gonna win 6 belts, and the game ain't even dropped early access yet. And then you have the ones who are so negative. It doesn't matter what ESBC releases, the game's never dropping. And then you kind of have the content creators that fall somewhere in the middle. We're obviously optimistic. We're excited. We're ready for this game, but it's like it's like like we're kind of edging on the just on the edge of our seats waiting. And as far as the receptivity, I would say it's kind of been off and on for me because I'm a very transparent person when I say that I am an acquired taste as far as a personality. I am I am a grown man, so I have my maturity, but I'm also, like I was just telling you before we started, I pretty much live on 10. Like I'm a very I'm a big personality, so not everybody rocks with that. So on one side, I have the people who really enjoy it. They come and watch my content because they want a good laugh or they want to see somebody do something goofy. Like like when I hit 1K, I played Don King's Prize Fighter. I almost got a stroke doing that, but I finished a whole career mode in it because I want to do it and just be goofy. I made it fun, but when I tell you, like mentally, it was taxing. It was a trip. But so like they're like, yeah, that's the dude that does that. And then there's the other ones that's like, oh, he's a casual. He's not serious. He's not committed to the game. And I think that's honestly kind of goofy. I'm not committed to the game. Like I don't work for Steel City, bro. It's like I'm just making content,
Yeah, and to kind of keep on the trend of the growth, it seems like shorts has been where you've kind of got out there a lot more than some expected. So this is just my question for you not to any YouTubers, but did you expect the shorts thing to like kind of pop off, or was it just like I'm just gonna post it because I want some type of short-term content and long-term content, or was it just like I'm just posting it just to post it?
Excuse my laughter. I'm fighting my petty. In short, absolutely not. I did not expect any of those shorts to make the game way they did. But so I have this I have this thing about like I have this hate for laziness. Like I just don't like laziness. And it's probably more so because I can identify it in myself. Like if I take a day off, I'm probably taking a week off. You know what I'm saying? So like that's just me. I'm that person that if I sleep in until 9, I'm hitting the snooze button to 12. So I like to work really hard. So the reason why I even started doing shorts is because there was days where I felt my lazy and I'm like, I don't feel like editing. Because if you watch my videos, I edit my videos. I edit kind of like Dark Side, you know, like you watch his content, a couple seconds in, you're gonna get a meme. A couple seconds in, you're gonna get a meme. You're gonna get a zoom in. And I think that creates an experience. And that's what I do. Like if you watch my previous video, I have a couple of my counters in slow motion, and I have like this Ultra Instinct remix. Like I like to make my video something I want to watch. So for that reason, editing is tiring. And I'm like, you know what? On days I just don't feel like editing or posting long form content, the least I can do is make a short. So, and I make these shorts from my phone. So it's just a way for me to like to kind of combat my lazy, because if I was to honestly like release content with the way I feel opposed to finding ways to, I guess, supplement my work ethic, you might get a video every week and a half because of how it is. And then after the shorts come out and I see how successful they are, it inspires me to hop back in the lab and edit. So on days I feel lazy, I'm like, all right, I'm making a short. You know what I'm saying? So like that's kind of how that happened. But even though even though that's the case, they are still very calculated moves. Like I know what I'm posting, why I'm posting it, what my title is before I do it, and I know what time I'm doing it, and I know who I want to watch the video. So even though it's to fight my laziness, I did absolute research. So everything I do is intentional.
Yeah, I think you brought up a good point in that too. Where a lot of people, me and Jay, we had this conversation with multiple different people at this point now. But it always comes down to the point where some people see content creation overall as kind of like, like it's easy, or
Oh
all
my
you're doing is just like
goodness.
uploading games, like anyone can do that, type of thing. But a lot of people don't realize how much work goes into like editing, even like a small video, even like a short, even how much work can go into like editing that, like how you spoke to it. Some days, like when you're putting in all those edits, some days, that takes a lot out of you when you're trying to edit a lot of videos and stuff like that. So I guess what I can go along that line and say is kind of like on those, like you just mentioned, like on those days when you're like, you're feeling kind of, you're not really feeling like editing a long video, you might want to do like a short instead. How do you like try to even like as you do like post the shorts when you're kind of not feeling like editing the long videos? How do you try to keep that motivation to keep going? Maybe when you see like a video or a short doesn't do as well as you thought, and like you mentioned, you put a lot of time and effort into the editing. How do you keep that motivation to keep going forward?
Honestly, the way I keep the motivation to keep going forward is the fear of the results of my laziness. And that means like I would hate to look up one day and realize I could have been somewhere different, or this could have been different if I would have just teed up. You know what I'm saying? It's like imagine I always have this imagination where I could, like, I'm a Christian, so I imagine like God comes before me and he shows me my life, and then I see all these golden plates, and I'm like, well, what's that? And he's like, oh, that's the stuff you were too lazy to get. And I'm like, what? Like, and that's kind of how I look at it. It's like I wake up and I'm like, man, I'm not trying to be that lazy today. But the motivation is I also split interest. So like on my long form content, I make videos about what I'm interested in my primary thought. So what's that? That's boxing, that's gaming, that's sports. Like if I don't post anything about boxing or fighting, the games I'm probably gonna play is sports games. Like that's just my mind. And then what I do on my shorts is is that I post my subliminal interests. Like I think somebody getting slapped in the face is hilarious. I think someone doing something stupid and failing, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I think that's funny. So I make things about my subliminal interest on this side, so that way one side's not being overexhausted. So I kind of have like a way of making sure I don't have burnout, but that motivation comes from like I don't want to not be successful because I'm lazy.
Yeah, and just to talk about that, you mentioned how your personality is always on 10, and how eccentric and outgoing you are as a person, and I've talked about this with you, Darkside, and a lot of other creators, behind the scenes, and I just want to ask you, just for like anyone out there who's up and coming, just trying to stand out with the personality in a sense, especially with esports, because you kind of have to, some people just get the conception that you just have to be good at the game. It's no such thing as a personality, you just have to be good. So like, what would be your thought process behind it, or advice, if you will, for something like that?
Um, Compromising yourself is setting yourself up for destruction. And I mean that in the sense of, if you don't allow your personality to be there, even if it's esports, even if it's whatever it is, if you don't allow your personality to be there, at some point you're going to come across being an imposter. And that's what I didn't want to do. So I'm like, you know what? And that's the thing I realized too about the esports community, is like, there's two things that they respect, and I kind of feel like I'm an outlier because I'm neither of these things. Either somebody who is extremely skilled, extremely technical, and extremely like enjoyable to watch at the game, or two, somebody who is very, I don't want to say very serious or very poised, but comes off as a respectable mind or knowledgeable. And even in the esport or the game they're playing, not just in the sport, not just in the esport, but the sport itself. And I fall somewhere not just in the middle, but 100% out of bounds. Like, I do have knowledge of boxing. I'm a big boxing fan, but I am a giant child. So I'm like, well, who do I want to be in my content the most? And I pretty much made that decision very early, which we talked about receptivity earlier. And I'll just say this: my first couple of videos, my personality, what's shaking? This your boy JxShepp, make this and that. Like, my character's name is Marcus Minkins. It's already goofy. Like, I would be getting like, I've erased a lot of the comments, but you'd be surprised how many insults I would get. You know what I'm saying? Like, just I was insulted bad, and it's like, what's the problem? Like, I can't be a grown man and be goofy. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want y'all in my comment section. I don't want you to be my views. I want people who, even if you're not like me, you enjoy a person like me, even if it's just in doses. Like, you know what? Today was a long day. I'm gonna go watch some JxShepp today. That dude always doing something foolish. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's still in your genre. It's still in your boxing, your MMA. And now it's gonna make a video about MMA supremacy. I picked it up. That game is trash, but that's horrible. It's almost like playing Final Fantasy with MMA gloves. It's trash. But I just decided, like, nah, you got to be yourself to sustain even what you're building, because you're gonna find yourself putting a face on for people that you don't even know, and that at the core of it don't even know you. So.
And you kind of mentioned it right there as well, and you also kind of hinted at it earlier too. But this is something I was going to ask you too,
Mhm.
because like you alluded to earlier, a lot of people, especially I feel like, as far as like ESBC goes, a lot of people are more. I wouldn't say they're more geared towards like they want to see people who are like at the high level of competition or feel like they want to compete at a super high level and things like that. But your style isn't necessarily like you see like most like I guess you could say like UFC for example. Most people who play like online and play ranked and things like that. That's not really your style. I think your style is more you like want to be more like the story mode and like career mode type of player. And just based off how I've interacted with people within the community, just alone on that fact, I know a lot of people probably like you kind of mentioned earlier, they might think like less of a content creator who's not like playing like super high level competitive gameplay, but because they see that as kind of like you kind of mentioned earlier, they see it almost like as you're not as good, or they might call you like a casual because you're playing the career mode versus people who might be playing like ranked online. You're playing like a player versus player type of mode. How do you like kind of get past that? Because like you mentioned with the negative, like in the insults and things like that, I'm sure that's where some of that comes from. Is for the fact people think almost like lesser of you because you decide to play a career mode or play like versus the CPU versus player.
Well, I have to I have to really consider the fact that the only person I have to live with is myself. And it's like, I don't want to wake up and be like, I don't want to. I look, here's the thing: the reason why I'm content creating, for one, is because I enjoy it. As you mentioned, it's not easy goofy. Whoever's saying it's easy, I look dead in the camera just so if you're watching, I can tell you it's not easy. The shorts I edit themselves take about 45 minutes. I just had a short I did about Floyd Mayweather exposing Manny Pacquiao. That hit 1 million yesterday, and that short took me maybe an hour and a half for a short, and that's 15 seconds. And it didn't hit 1 million. I made that 2 months ago. So it was like, you don't really know what's going to happen. Don't mind my camera. It's just going to pop back in at some point. But it's the idea that I have to live with myself. And don't get me wrong, I'm still going to play other content creators when the game comes out. I'm going to be competitive, and I'm not going to be a tryhard. I'm not going to get no belt. This is no shade at Steel City, but the last thing I want is a full. Look, here's the thing. As a boxing fan, I don't know if I want a WBC belt. And then someone goes, "You're a boxer?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Online, you know what I'm saying? I just can't process that yet. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe my heart to change, but just because out of my respect for the sport, I would feel weird seeing a champion I respect with the belt, and I'm like, oh look, I got the same. I don't know. It's just weird to me. But me, you know what I'm saying? Imagine here. Okay, how about this? Imagine you're at ESFL, right?
Mm-hmm.
Imagine Israel Adesanya is there, and he's walking around with his belt on his shoulder, and you walk past him with yours, and he's like, I don't know, bro. It's just, I mean, it's nice, but I'm like, I ain't trying to walk past Tank and be like, hey, not it,
right?
But my thing is, like, we was talking about Chris Smoove earlier, Jay, and like how he's the reason why I even picked up 2K.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the thing I want to bring to ESBC. Like, yeah, I'm gonna be competitive. Yeah, I'm gonna do some online. Chris Smoove does online too. He does the park, and he does I forgot what the other one's called.
My team.
Whatever
My
it is.
team. My team.
My team.
My team.
Yeah.
My team. Yeah.
Yeah. My team. Yeah. All that. I haven't played 2K in like 2 years. At least not next gen. But I want people to watch me play the career mode and be like, man, this is funny. I'm gonna have it on the hardest difficulty, but I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna have some fun. So I have to live with me, and it's gonna be a good time. I promise you, it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, and I just want to, ask you, well, this is my last one. No, it's not my last. It's one of my last questions about just ESBC in general, and just your thoughts on, the pictures they were been releasing and release dates and all that. Just what are your general honest thoughts about everything?
So to be 100% honest, do I have the same fire that I had when I first saw ESBC a year ago when I started making content? About what is it now? August. Yup. So this month, the end of this month, to be my like official like content creator anniversary. I started at the end of August. So would I have been? Am I just as excited? Nah, I would have flipped tables and punched a grandma. I was so excited about ESBC. Like I was geeked up. Now, I'm still, because of current events, I would say that I'm optimistic, but I'm also a very natural optimistic person. I would be a liar if I didn't say I had some disappointments. Like one of the biggest disappointments was that long silent period that we had for a while. In my opinion, this is gonna it wasn't the most professional. I'll just say it like that, because for a game to have so much hype, a pause like that, it didn't look good. And the content creators, well, this is before I was even inside the Discord, so I could imagine the conversations going back and forth. I was pulling teeth, and I was by myself. I was trying to figure out stuff to do, and that's what honestly sparked my initial channel blow up, because I started the ESBC While We Wait series, and that's when I found Hajime no Ippo, and I was doing a Victorious Road. And I was like, I'm gonna just make a series called Stuff I'm Doing While We Wait. So it was a tough one. And then I'm not judging every misstep they make. I like the way the game looks right now. I think it's funny that they went from having like saxophone man, soul glow, greased up fighters to the ashiest Terrence Crawford I ever seen in my life. Like that was a big switch. And then I know it's probably lighting, but I know that for a couple seconds there, that boy looked like he was dry. It was wild. So little stuff like that. I thought it was very interesting that Boxy Fanatical said that he couldn't even switch stance in the build that he played, and it's like that was the one he said was 50% better. But then to miss something like that is like, okay, like little things like that kind of build a little cause for concern. But if I was to be overall, I am optimistic. I do feel like early access is dropping this year. Trying to get my PC game up so I can go ahead and get that. But my main thing is I want to see them do good because it would suck to have all this and then it be a flop. That would be wild. That would be a wild turn of events. But I don't see that happening, honestly.
Yeah, let's hope that doesn't happen because we all got high hopes for the game overall. But like you did mention, there have been multiple. I wouldn't say. Yeah, I probably would say actually. There's been some disappointments along the way for sure. But of course, we know they're not going to go like bat 1,000, and they're going to be disappointments here and there. I mean, we
Right.
all can realize that for sure. But I think everybody we've talked to, all the content creators, pretty much everybody's agreed that that period where we had like no news for months on end, that's definitely probably been like the worst period as far as like the timeline with ESBC goes so far, where it was just so dry and there was no new information whatsoever. But speaking of information from ESBC, these past couple of basically the past month, we've been getting a lot more information, I think, than we've probably ever gotten in rapid succession. At least that I can remember. Like we've been getting constant info. Like typically we've been conditioned like if we get some info, don't expect nothing for like 3 or 4 more months now. Like we're going dry now, but we wasn't expecting nothing like back to back weeks. We get more and more information. Do you kind of feel like they've like heard our concerns or like the information's too dry at certain points, so they're trying different things now to kind of keep the community engaged?
Oh, 100%, man. That's one thing I actually admire about Steel City Interactive the most is that they have shown that they listen to the voices of the good and the bad because they make adjustments. And it's like, okay, like I'm low key judging them for this week because here's the thing: you can't just do us like that for a month and then take a week off. Like at least Tweets will take a week off. You know what I'm saying? Like now I got to update the week off because you got us back hype again. But this was definitely the best month by far. And it just made you more hopeful that something is coming out. I mean, of course, early access, but that they have their foot on the gas and that they're not playing around no more. So like this has been fantastic. They're definitely listening, but I still want a little bit more. I don't want to like that spoiled little kid, but it's like I know that story mode and I know not story mode, but career mode isn't your concern. And right now you're focused on this, that, and this, but can you drop an article about your plans with it? You know what I'm saying? And it's like Asherby was talking about like we're on schedule, we're on pace. It's like can you drop the schedule?
Yeah.
Like can you show our brother the calendar? You know what I'm saying? Like dang, you on schedule for what? For a win, baby boy. Let me know, man. But so we're hyped up, but they are listening. So.
Yeah. Oh man, that gets me every time. But this is my last question for you, man. It's just anything you want to leave the people off with, man. Because I always ask every creator, man. Is there something that you want? Down the line, someone can watch this back, looking for some type of inspiration or motivation, and be like, huh. I can take that and apply that to what I'm doing. Is there anything you want to leave it off with?
Yeah, so because you said look back at it, I'll go ahead and say this. Of course, it's JxShepp. Right now, I'm standing at 5.8K. And in this moment, I think the most important thing is to realize to not compromise yourself. Is for one, don't play yourself because you got to realize that YouTube doesn't care about you. So you still have to strategize. You still have to understand that you have to go with the algorithm. The algorithm's not looking for you. But you also can't afford to compromise yourself and don't allow your ambition to suck the soul out of you, because there's been days I've been so tired from editing, and I've been so tired from like days that I've made shorts and literally just fell asleep on my phone and like was almost late for work, and just I would leave work on lunch, and ESBC would just drop content randomly at 2 p.m. my time, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm not eating lunch today. I'll go home, I'll record, and then I would go back to work and I would post it and hope for the best, but it's not worth losing your soul. This is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. And the ones that sprint probably regret it. And you can even tell that they can't mentally handle it. You watch somebody go from 5K to 5 million, they're making content, but if you talk to them in person, they probably have anxiety on how to deal with the attention. So take your time, and just be consistent and be yourself, and the right people gonna show up.
I like it. I like that, man. I like that. But as always, dark side. You can end it off, man.
I mean, how can you even combat that? But I guess one thing I'll just ask you real quick, Shep, just to end it off with something light that's not going to take too much thought. Of the fighter models that ESBC has dropped so far, what has been your favorite model?
What has been my favorite? All right. Do you want my esports answer, or do you want my petty answer?
Yeah, we want the petty answer. Forget the esports answer.
If you,
All right,
if you
Ryan
say
Gar-
John, I was about to say you better
No.
not say John O'Carroll.
Yeah, I
I
know.
end this thing right now. You better not say.
No,
I thought that's what he was
not
going
at all. Not at all. Not at all. Of course, the Dark Destroyer had the best detail. That goes without saying. Everybody and their mama dropped that content. But Ryan Garcia, because he looks just as R&B artist in his render as he does in real life. He looked like he looked like he's ready to remind you of a West Side Story at any moment, just in his render. Like this man gonna sing the national anthem and box. Like, bro, like how you look sensitive in your render too. I mean, you're still a great fighter. But you just look like birds talk to you. It looks like the exact same thing in your render. That's what.
Oh man.
boy talks to nature.
But man, I think that was a great way to end it off, man. Again, Dark Side, JMMA, and JxShepp, JxShepp, excuse me. As always, all links will be down below in the description. Y'all go check that out. And it has been us, Combat Esports Media, and we will see y'all next time.